Yeah. The external forces, the overstimulating environment,
Yeah.
right? And that's something that I've struggled with, and I can say over the last few days, ever since I've just had put myself back together and just say, you know, something. I sit here and I worry, and I don't even know what I'm worrying about.
Right.
You know, and that's where a lot of people find themselves, because it comes to that saying. I think I told you this in one of our earlier meetings, but when a 100-year-old man had said the secret to life, or had some advice, right?
Yeah.
He said, tomorrow is the past, today is a gift, tomorrow is a mystery.
Right.
Short, sweet, simple, and he's 100 years old.
Right.
And when he was saying this, he started crying, because he's 100 years old. I can't tell you when he adopted this idea,
Right.
but he probably lived a majority of his life with it.
Right.
And that resonated with me. I was just like,
yeah, most people aren't even gonna make it to 100 years old. You know what I mean? I had somebody look. I'm at the job at the American Indian Center, right? Over on Cedar and Franklin.
yeah.
There's a lady in there. She works. Her mom. She's probably like in her 50s. You know what I mean? Mid to late 50s. And her mom, she was like, "Oh, I gotta leave early today. They were supposed to be in a meeting or something last week." And she was like, "Oh, I gotta leave early today. My mom is in the hospital." And I was like, "Oh snap! I didn't even know. Like she had a mother still." And then it was like, "Well, how old is she?" She was like, "Oh, she's in her 90s." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's what's up." You know what I mean? From screw what's going on here, right? And she's all worried, like, "Oh my God, is it gonna be okay if I leave the job early and this and that?" I'm like, man, listen, I don't know if it's just me, but my mentality about that whole world is like, I don't have those anxieties or whatever, right? Like, if I gotta be at the hospital for my 90-year-old mother, I have no anxiety whatsoever as to if the manager is gonna approve my request or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, it took time to get there, right? Because it's something that had to be overcome. But I'm not sure that people even realize that it is something that needs to be overcome. It's almost like, from what I see, a lot of people look at it like it's just normal. You know what I mean? To be
Well, and the thing is like, that comes with the comfortability from overcoming anxiety.
yeah,
Right? Now, anxiety is one of those things where it affects not only your way of thinking, but it affects your stomach.
right,
You know, I know some people whose anxiety is so bad that they literally make themselves sick.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you know, when your mind and your heart aren't in the same place, what do you think's going to happen?
Misalignment, problems,
It's gonna
confusion.
it's gonna work against you all day.
Right.
So that's why when people like, and I'm somebody who's had to deal with a lot of funerals. Okay.
Yeah.
I've dealt with a lot of funerals, and you know, being somebody at that funeral while everybody's falling apart, standing around saying, "Do you need this done? How about this?" Just being that calm person while everybody's kind of falling apart.
Right.
And unfortunately, that comes from having to deal with a lot of death. You know, and I'm not somebody who's ever hurt anybody to that extent.
Right.
Because I'm a defensive, anti-bully type person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I value life in the sense that there are things in this life worth protecting and loving, absolute, like God Himself,
Right.
Jesus.
Right.
You know, and with my life, I survived death a couple times.
Right.
I was stabbed multiple times, shouldn't have survived that, saw heaven, came back, only to end up in a position in my life where I also saw hell.
Right.
And that was from wanting to hurt myself. And that's a thing that really hurts me, because I know there's a lot of men right now struggling with their mental health, trying to compare themselves to a financial idea, because that's where the women are at. And
that's one reason. I think it's for the women, but I think so much of our humanity, right? Like, if like, just think about it. You could be the most upstanding, solid, clean-hearted, well-intended, good guy, right? But if you don't have no paper, you don't have no dollars, you don't have no dinero, pesos,
then you can't do nothing. And that's where I'm at in life.
Right? I mean,